arms as close to you. 'Cause every time that I say goodbye, I just wanna think about your love tonight. All I do is think about your love.
Well, everybody, welcome back to the Trick Podcast with Joey and Goso TV on this beautiful Tuesday morning. It's almost noon already, right? 11 a.m. Pacific. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this episode talking about how to set up a wonderful professional studio for your church, your personal brand, for your home. Obviously, I'm in my home. I've also set up studios at church in different people's garages, in for it could be a small office. It could be obviously during the pandemic that a lot of people had to do things out of their homes. So I have, I don't know, maybe 20 years of experience in podcasting, excuse me, and live streaming, and I've always enjoyed it. And for the last maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 years, I've helped a variety of people to do the same thing. And so it's been really awesome to help people to learn, to do interviews, to gather a lot of information and knowledge and experience. And now I'm here to help you and to show you some of the stuff that I've had the privilege to do. So I have a few pictures I want to show you here in my handy dandy notebook. And by the way, what I'm using here is called Ecamm, which just came out with a brand new update just about, I don't know, a couple hours ago. So I'm really excited about that. And all those things I can show you. You may already have a studio. You may already be working with something out of your house. You're already pretty excited about things, but maybe, as I said, you want to go to the next level. You want to set up something that's just a little bit more professional per se. And or maybe you just are ready to invest into something that is going to into upgrading your particular brand and your look and all that goes with that. So I'm going to just open a few of these pictures here and see if they show up just well here on the screen, and hopefully give you a little glimpse of kind of what all is happening here online. So I want to show you, let's see here. Let's see, maybe this one here. I'm just shrinking a couple of windows for you before you can see all the magic and all the love that I have for you, and moving everything here to the side and making everything look pretty just for you so that you can enjoy all that's happening here on Goso TV. So I think first I'm going to show you a couple of clips, a couple of movies, excuse me, that you'll be able to see here so that you can kind of get a sense of what we're talking about, both musically as well as in media. And so I have a bunch of clips here that I want to show you that are pretty awesome, pretty exciting stuff that I'm just making everything be a little bit more organized for you, moving it from this screen to the next and all that good stuff. So here it is. I'm going to show you here first. Let's see here. Let's see, what do we have here on this one? I think you see there a bunch of stuff. And so this one first I'm going to show you is, let's see here. This one is J. Cole, of course. And I don't know if you can hear the audio. I'm going to play it here. See it. You might not be able to hear it. Hold on. Let me see if I can update this really Awesome. And but no, and I don't want to end the broadcast, so you can't hear it. But this is just a sample of a of beat making. As you know, I also make beats for hip hop, lo-fi, soul, R&B, worship, of course. And so you can't hear that. Maybe you can hear it a little bit, but that's one of the beats here that I made. I think you can pick it up there, right? Just a little bit. Hold on, really quick. Okay, so we're back. Yeah, that's a good one, huh? So this is also we also do some DJing, and so this is something that I think it's just a little bit of a DJ video of New Year's Eve, which was I think was just this last year. So that's my family there, and here's a picture of some of the DJing that I also do. Some salsa. Yes. Here's also some of the music that I've had the privilege to do with some of my friends. This is just outside of our church. And these are beats that I have made. And these are some of the artists that I've worked with, Christian artists that sing about Jesus. Yes, awesomeness. This is one of the songs that I performed at a church a few months ago, one of my original songs. Again, you can hear that actually that one has no audio. But I want to show you some of the stuff that I've had the privilege to do in different churches. And this is just the kids ministry area. Oops, let's see. Doing a show using high-end cameras, lighting, using just one of their rooms in the back of the church per se. And they were able to do some really awesome stuff, teaching, especially during the pandemic, having things be done professional. This is, of course, a Zoom call that we did. And then I want to show you just some of the other things that we did as far as the behind the scenes, setting up computers, setting up all of their live streaming gear so that they can do things professionally. Green screen, you can see there in the back, there's a green screen. And so we can do that as well, setting up a different camera shoot, whether it's a one or two or three or four camera shoot, so that you can then have different angles. And some of these are just some of the things, excuse me, that we've done here in our home studio, some interviews that I have done. And so you can also set up a, excuse me, a studio so that you can do interviews. And so the lighting is very important. And of course, you have to have amazing talent. You can do this in your kitchen, just in your home. This is something that was more professionally done in a studio at Saddleback Church. That is Kay Warren, who is the wife of Pastor Rick Warren. This is again in our home studio with a YouTube influencer who happens to be my daughter. And there's more. This is Celia, also here in our home studio. And what you can always do, which is what we did eventually, is set up some backdrops so that you don't see just the chair or the door or whatever, but instead you see the backdrop that you would like with your branding, or it can just be black, or it can be bright colors. Right now, bright colors are in, and so you may want to consider bright colors for your studio. All that stuff is what we do, and I produce your show. So I coach you through what to say, and then of course we edit and produce the video ourselves. Excuse me, got a frog there. And you can, as you see there, you just get tripods and cameras, and then we record all the audio, and then of course we produce the video as well. We use SM7Bs. This is a pastor here in the area that uses the SM7B microphone, which is very popular. And you can also set up worship events where you have just your band or a Bible study, or especially, as I said, in this day and age, and even beyond the pandemic, we all know that digital is here to stay. And so these are some of the studios that we can build in. Yeah, some, as you see there, a backdrop, very simple, and so that way it kind of makes it look a little more theatrical, a little more professional. and well lit with proper microphones. And we can set all this up to panels that are very important to have good balance and good sound. Once again, kids ministry and a Bible study in Spanish or English. That's just a wall that was painted in a nice color. Here's little bit of the behind the scenes of kind of what that looks like, and and let's see here. On the music end, I also wanted to show you some of the plugins. If you know what plugins are, just ways to equalize the music, make it sound good. So these are some of the plugins that I use to produce and to mix and master music, hip hop, R&B, Christian, hip hop, R&B, soul, worship, lo-fi are some of the things that I love to do. And so RC20, we talked about making our Zooms awesome and well lit and having the proper microphone for all of that. This is just our home because a lot of times we invite now, especially when things are a little bit better, we invite all of our different clients and guests to enjoy a barbecue here at my house so that we can get to know each other and build community, have Bible studies, pray together, and really encourage each other. You can also do a home Bible study. This is during the pandemic, what we did, a 3-camera shot. You see the comments there on the screen. Through Zoom, we can also do the same thing where you can bring in a guest during your live stream. This is some of the music opportunities that we have done. I play the timbales as well as the guitar, of course, and sing, write my own songs. That's my band. This is from a few years ago. And we also do trainings. You can use Keynote, you can use PowerPoint, Google Slides, so you can do trainings online. So that way you and your guest, or you and a staff member, can train your church, your small group, or it could be you as a personal brand. You're training people on a topic, your webinar, your video course, that kind of stuff, so that you can provide value and build that know, like, and trust. This is a home office. This is actually no a church. This is my church office, and so you can build a studio right out of your own office. You don't have to have a really expensive studio. Right there, we set up some lights and just a rug and really nice sound and lights and cameras. We use high quality stuff, cameras such as the Sony A5100 and the 61 and the 63, 6400. You can also do something for Christmas. This is something that I did here in my own home studio, so that now that Christmas is coming, you can maybe have your worship team, or if you yourself are a musician, you can set up your own personal concert or show, and you can then have a buy me a coffee as a way for people to help you to pay for your services. All this is stuff that we do with your own instruments, and we also, as I said, I write music, I create beats, I make beats, I record, I produce, I mix and master, so that if you need some of those services, of course, I'm available as well. This is, I think I already mentioned this one with K.O. Warren. Great learning experience, a professional studio. And this is a church where we brought all the fancy gear. It was one of those traditional churches, and now we set up all of this beautiful room with all kinds of, let me see if I have more pictures here, all kinds of screens and audio. These are just some samples of what you can do for your podcast. This is like a music type of more energetic podcast that's music related. This is one that is a kitchen. This is more of a cooking show, so you can do that as well. And back to the church, I don't do installations of sound systems. I do connect with that with my friends, but just to show you the kind of quality that we produce. All this stuff is stuff that we have been a part of, setting up the studio, teaching your team how to do that so they can do that, training them, showing them everything from A to Z so that they can do it themselves. And that really is my passion, is to train and to equip your team, or if it's just you, to produce a high quality stream or video or podcast. And so here's all the stuff that we've done. We have there, you see a 2-camera shot, and some of the behind the scenes, just doing it here in our home as well with music. Some of the green screen that I mentioned. Green screen, of course, allows you to look like you're in Hawaii, or it's a Christmas topic or a theme, or maybe it's a Halloween theme. This is the music, kind of the behind the scenes of the computer setup that we did. All the behind the scenes here. If you want to do an interview with a guest, with your team, with if it's just you, then you can set up a green screen. And back to the music, these are some of the things, the plugins that we use to mix and master your music, your podcast, your video, so that it sounds amazing. It's not just sort of whatever comes out of your camera or your phone, but it's high quality stuff. We can also help you set up a vocal booth if you want to do voiceovers, if you want to just record your vocals. Let's say you have a worship team and you want to have them be more isolated from the drums, or maybe like you see back there, you want just the drums in this room and not have the drums bleed everywhere else. You can set up a ISO booth, as they call them, and we can do that as well and teach you how to do that and set you up with. We use only the best gear. That's the Universal Audio UA, the Apollo Twin X, which is great. It could be for your outdoor events. It could be for indoor concerts. This is, as I said, the studio that we set up with, and then we add lights and make it look really nice and vibey. And this is my family who I work with. My daughter there on the right, she is my partner in this media ministry. She does all the social media aspects, so Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, but especially YouTube and Instagram. She has hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views, and so she's an expert on SEO and how to make your content really pop. And so that's just my beautiful family. We are a family business and ministry that wants to help you succeed. So these are more ideas of kind of what you can do in the area of music and DJing. It could be your worship team. This is just someone's house or apartment up on the second floor, third floor. But you see the setup, and these are the kind of ideas that we bring you, so that whatever you do is done well. This is just my family. Go Dodgers! Just to show you that we're a family ministry, that we have stability, that we bring peace and love, and we bring us all together to your church, your personal brand. We have the support of every one of us. And so here is some of the acoustic paneling that we provide. And so you see some of this is for a big hall, obviously, but we can also install these in your home, in your studio, somewhere that is smaller. These are the staging platforms that we also provide. And so you see more of the hall there, and how beautiful. If you can imagine, that floor is very reflective, but those panels help tremendously to bring down the echo in there. This is just a personal picture of my son David, and I was baptizing him just a few months ago, just to show you again that we are a family that loves Jesus, that we worship God. And my son is a professional drummer, and so we also provide worship team training for you and your worship team. So again, this is just a hall. How beautiful it is there. We set up this hall with all the kind of stuff that they needed, and this is more of a rehearsal room slash maybe a room for small shows, a little desk, if you're familiar with that, NPR little desk. So a lot of young people, they love to do small gatherings. So this is a sample of what we've done. Some of the gear that we use to push to, the SM7B, the monitors that are very professional. This is another sample of things that we do to set up a podcast that is easy to set up, professional artwork, the SM7Bs, some of the branding behind it, the colors, just to make it look really awesome. And then as you can see there, you can put it on YouTube there and begin your YouTube or improve your YouTube content. We use the Mac Mini M1s, they just upgraded them yesterday. So we are excited about the upgrades that Apple is doing. We work primarily with Apple computers and setting up OBS primarily, ProPresenter, vMix if you are on a Windows system. And so you can see here some of the behind the scenes. Look how beautiful that looks, especially if you're a traditional church that is maybe more where you're at. You want to improve that. This is a green room that we can help you set up so that everything looks beautiful behind the scenes. Once again, the sound booth or the tech area, we can set you up with all the right equipment and places and people to bring the kind of quality that you need at your church. We can set up, what happened there? There we go. We can set up all the microphones that you need. Let me see, there it is. The microphones, so that you can record perhaps the congregation singing, or you want people to come up to the microphone, or maybe it's in front of the stage or behind the stage, maybe exit interviews and just ask people kind of how they're doing. prayer requests, that kind of thing. This is some of the quality of the cameras that we use. This is my home studio. And so you see there the quality of the cameras that we use. As I said, the Sony 51, 61, 6400, as well as the new one, I think it's called the MZ70. And so if you're studying as a pastor, as a church leader, and you want just ideas on how to make your Instagram really pop and attract people so that they come to your church, so that they are blessed by your message, these are just some ideas, simple ideas on how to make your branding really pop. If you need some graphic design, we also do that as well. And we provide some of the graphic design for your church, your nonprofit, your personal brand. Some of the plugins again. As I said, I'm a songwriter, worship leader. And so together with my team, my son, and a few of my friends, we not only lead worship for your event, and I have my own songs, my own music online, but I also do a weekend training called The Heart of the Artist, where we train and mentor your worship team. And so some of the plugins that we teach, some of the stuff that we've done, I had the privilege to train and to equip some of the young people that you see. This is a studio again, some more pictures of the studio, some of the outdoor concerts that we've done. I play keyboards, I play bass, I play all the instruments by the grace of God. And so once again, my family, so you can see that this is a family ministry. I've been podcasting since it's been about 20 years. So since about 2000 or so. And it's been a great joy. I also work with young bands. And so maybe your youth group or your high school band, or maybe it's just you and your friends. So I'm producing that's my son there on the right, you see on the bottom. I'm producing his band and recording all of their songs that they are writing. And so we actually do that in the garage. I track a lot of my stuff. If you don't have a place to track it, I track all of the drums and kind of the louder stuff here in the garage. It's all clean and professionally set up. We use only the best gear so that you can feel comfortable. This is my home studio where I mix and master all the music that you may need. You also can hang out here and pray. We pray together. We talk. I mentor you. We talk about life and marriage and just normal stuff so that artist can really grow in their faith as well. A lot of the young people that I work with and mentor, that's where they write their songs. They just sit here and they just write. So then they pray together. We pray together so that God can inspire them. So you see here in my home studio where I have some of the best gear to mix and master your gear. And also, as I said, in the garage where we also record and track bands such as these young people that are tracking some of their drums. And that's my son tracking his drums with his band. And then, as I said, we go in the backyard and we just enjoy being together and really praying and having a barbecue, maybe jump in the jacuzzi there. We also do podcasts just in your home. We can do a podcast here on our kitchen table, in our living room, so that you can record your content and show it on YouTube, on iTunes, Spotify. We set all that up for you so you don't have to. There's a shot of my studio and then us leading worship. That's my band, my friend Joel, my son in the background, some of our vocalists. And these are some of the artists that I have been working with that are recording their Christian hip hop albums. Amazing young people with a story of God and faith. She is 20. She just turned 21 last week, and she is recording an EP. And I'm telling you, God is all over that young lady's life. So there's a studio. We record and track guitars here as well. Right there, just next to my kitchen. We have a studio right there in our home. So everything is done fast and professionally. And as I said, we have a home of peace. And I record sound packs, whether it's a guitar loop or a keyboard loop. If you need that, we're available to do all of that here in our studio. I also do interviews. So this is one that we did with a Spanish. She is a prophet and an evangelist. And so we co-hosted a show for a couple of years. And for Christmas, we did one as well. She preaches the gospel. And so, but she needed someone to kind of just walk her through it. And so I was her co-host. We also can do a podcast for you with some of the branding and design that you need. We have worked with all kinds of cultures, Asian, African American, of course, Latino, white. And so all of the cultures, my beautiful wife right here, who, as I said, we work together, and she is my supporter and lover of my soul. And we have led worship, as I said. That's my worship team right there. Canela, my daughter, she was a beauty queen and a pageant winner. And so she has a lot of experience with branding and with just confidence and how to project your voice and how to go from being shy and introverted to being someone on a stage winning a pageant. As I said, I play the piano, I play all the instruments, write songs, and I love to also play the accordion. If you want to do that, lead worship with my band. That's my band right there. Once again, my family and some of the keyboards that I use to record music, to play. Maybe it's just a grand piano at your church that we can use. We are here to serve and to provide any sort of service that you need for your church, for your personal brand, for your ministry, for your nonprofit, for your business, for whatever you may need. And it's been a really amazing to, let me just fix my camera here really quick. Let's see here. Let's do some live fixing. Let's see if that's not, okay. That's not quite right, is it? Sorry about the movement. We'll just leave it alone. Maybe I'll bring my chair up a little bit. Let's see here. Okay. There we go. So yeah, and I think the part that I love the most, at least, about all this is the coaching, sitting with the artist, with the leader, with the personal brand content creator, and coaching them. None of us are born with the ability to speak and to be confident. We all need to grow. I myself had to learn how to do all kinds of stuff, and obviously how to grow and how to become comfortable on stage, singing, playing, speaking, training, whatever it is. And so that's really, I would say, one of the biggest joys that I have is to mentor the team, is to coach you, to teach you how to do that and how to work the software, how to work the cameras. And a lot of times, of course, young people have a ton of knowledge, but even though they may have a ton of knowledge, it's always good to have a mentor that can just sort of walk them through what to do, how to do it, just new ideas, maybe just someone who can encourage them to say, hey, you're on the right track. And so these are all the things that I really enjoy doing. And I hope that you can be inspired. I have many different people that are being just blessed by the media content, or by the media tools, I would say, that they are providing, that they are learning how to use to touch the world with the message of Jesus Christ. And it doesn't have to be a preaching message or a sermon, as maybe I showed you. Let me actually show you my website so you can see the different people that I have helped and that we've worked with, so that you see that it's not just per se churches, that we also worked with entrepreneurs and with different people. So I'm just loading here the website so you can see different customers, clients, friends that I've had the privilege to work with. And so here on my website, I think you can see there in a second, my beautiful family. So there it is. So this is my website. You can go to davidtrigg.com and you can then look at all the different services that we provide. And so Trigg Media. And so I just want to show you, for example, she is a nutritionist. And so if you enjoy being in shape and you want to teach people how to do that online, so that you don't have to maybe necessarily always be out there on the road, then we can help you build your personal brand. This is a artist, a rapper, Christian rapper. And so it was important for him to share his story. Obviously, we know the music and the videos are important, but people sometimes want to know kind of who you are. And so, and as I said, a lot of artists, they aren't necessarily comfortable talking. And so it's good to have someone, a host or a co-host, that can help them through it. And so that's what I love to do. And so here's just some beat making that, let me show you kind of how a beat is made. You can maybe hear that a little bit. So there you go. So that's how beats are made behind the scenes. Happy customers. This is a Spanish podcast, and our client, her name is Guadalupe, and her passion is to train moms on how to raise teens, and she does it all in Spanish. So imagine that. man, lots of people were tuning into this. This is before the pandemic, and now we're getting back into it, hopefully sometime soon. But yeah, we did that here in our home studio, in our kitchen. And as I said, we can do backdrops so that you can put up your own personal branding. So it's not just the cupboards there and that kind of thing, but instead it's your colors, your branding. It can be the same space here in our own studio. And we can just put your colors, your branding. If you don't have a brand kit, we can provide that for you and connect you with the places that can print all of the different colors and branding so that you can then, we can even keep that for you here so that you can just come in, do your weekly show, and we can set up your branding before you're here. And so Celia, another amazing client and customer, she is an author and job skills coach, and we did lots of podcasts together. Amazing entrepreneur, woman of God who loves Jesus and who's teaching people how to basically take their skills and to provide and to create a second income stream or even their main income stream by repurposing their skills. My friend Eve, beautiful soul, a healer, an empath, and she does a 40-day cleanse, green cleanse. And so we did a podcast with her, many different podcasts, so that she could train her community through audio, especially, and she also loves to write. Here's some of the videos. This is my beautiful daughter. She's the YouTube influencer. And as I said, she is an Instagram and YouTube expert. And so we work together to help you with more of the posting of your content. This is a Jamaican beauty queen who also sings, and a good friend, Callie, talking about her life experience with divorce and some of the difficulties that she went through and how God brought her out of that darkness into his marvelous light. This is a personal home video that I was doing just on sermons during the pandemic. So you can set up pictures of your family, of your church, and you have the personal branding right there below. We use Photoshop and some of the best software, as well as Canva, of course. Back to Celia, beautiful interview that we did. This is, I mentioned, Kay Warren. This is a few years ago. I went to Saddleback Studios, and this is where this was shot. And we talked about losing her son to suicide. I think it was in 2013. And I had the privilege to also sing a couple of songs to Kay. And so then we also have a podcast. So if you want just audio, some people, like they say, they have a face for radio. And so we can click on this and you can see there, I maybe click on that. I guess the internet is a little slow. So you can have a picture there of your own personal story. And then here, as you can see, you have that audio file where you can then click on that. And I don't think you'll be able to hear it, but you can then, yeah, there's the intro music. And you hear the quality. Very professionally done. The audio is clear. And as I said, this is just audio. And so we have been helping people for, I don't know, it's been about 10 years, as I said, both in the church as well as personal brands, nonprofits. I have my friend Noel, who is a CEO or director of a nonprofit, and we helped him with his area is basically immigration and helping especially churches in other parts of the world, mostly Latin America, to build their churches and to provide content on this end so that the people that are here in the U.S. can then donate to my friend Noel's website, which is called, by the way, Camino, El Camino, Buen Camino. And then those funds are sent to these churches that are doing amazing stuff in Central America, Mexico, South America. So we do that, set up their video, their podcasting, their Zoom. Sometimes one of the things that we were going to do until this whole crazy thing happened was to go remotely on the road and to actually go to Panama and go to Costa Rica and Colombia and bring all of our gear and travel to other parts of the world to actually record their content live remotely and then bring it back here to the States and then produce a documentary or a small film, short film. And especially the idea of storytelling is very important because we all know that people really, at the end of the day, they just want to know that it's going to be okay. And they want to relate and connect with people. And so that's the kind of stuff that we also are doing here now over the next few months and hopefully all of next year and so forth. So I'm excited about the possibilities of all this. I think that it would be a wonderful thing for a lot of people to consider just how do we increase our content. I think that learning and finding ways to grow your brand and to help people in your community know more about who you are is very important. And especially obviously through the digital content and the platforms, everyone now is their own radio show, their own TV show. And what we want to do is just come alongside of you and improve it and bring it to that next level. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much. And